Welcome back to another episode of the Owl Talk podcast. This is Joe Palazzolo, and today we are talking about entrepreneurship. Sigma Pi Fraternity has a long history of our brothers being prominent members of corporate America, taking ownership and leadership roles in global companies as big as the UFC, Cablevision, and Lyft. And our alumni who are or who were corporate leaders, they didn't just start at the top. Many of them had to work their way through the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur in order to get there. In fact, the fraternity has alumni and undergraduates from coast to coast and really all over the world working on entrepreneurial activities right now. We have brothers of all ages who are starting every type of business venture that you can imagine, from B2B marketing to restaurant and food companies to fan-based sports reporting to apparel companies, dropshipping businesses, film and entertainment studios, networking apps, so much more. We could talk for days about the different entrepreneurial ventures that our brothers are working on. But today, I want to focus on one brother and one business. I'm very happy to be joined by Giovonni Morales from our Iota Kappa chapter at the University of Central Florida. Giovanni is the founder and the co-owner of Monkey Man Media, which is a digital marketing company that helps businesses grow their online footprint and potentially their in-person presence too. Welcome to the Owl Talk podcast, Giovanni.
It's great to be here. Thank you, Joe.
Glad to have you with us today, Giovanni. Hey, let's start with you and your history. Tell our listeners a little bit about your origin story. Where are you from? What brought you to the University of Central Florida? And then tell us a little bit about what brought you to the Iota Kappa chapter of Sigma Pi. And then for now, let's hold off on how and why you started Monkey Man Media. We'll get to that in a bit.
Cool. No, yeah, I lived in Vero Beach, Florida for a little bit with my dad. One of my parents live in Jersey. One of my parents live in Vero Beach, Florida. So I was there for a little bit. I was living here in Florida up to about senior year of high school. And then for senior year of high school, I moved back up to Jersey to live with my mom. Had issues with my father at the time, whatever. Lived with mom for a bit. So I went up to mom, stayed with mom in Jersey. And mom lived in Pleasantville, New Jersey. It's right next to Atlantic City. So I went to Cedar Creek High School. I met new people, made new friends, and, just had a fun time, had a really fun time there. I made a lot of friends in that 1 year being in high school there. From there, I went to college at community college in Atlantic Cape. I went to Atlantic Cape Community College in Egg Harbor City for a little bit. And then from there, I went to UCF. I went to University of Central Florida. I wanted to come back to Florida. I love Florida. I mean, I love the people in Jersey, but like Florida's just Florida, man. It's a good time.
Come on, New Jersey's the best.
New Jersey's great. Trust me. I love New Jersey, but trust me, come to Florida for a bit and we'll have a good time.
I'll take you up on that.
Florida, I always loved Florida, man. The weather, the people are happy. I mean, in Jersey, it's normal to be, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here, but it's normal to be an asshole sometimes. All right. It's an a-hole. It's like, people are not, but it's like the norm out there. Out here, man, sometimes it makes you so mad when people are too nice. People are out here asking me how I'm doing. I don't even know who they are. I'm like, who are you? They're just coming from Jersey. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were going to say something.
I would argue that when you get angry when people are too nice to you, that is your inner Jersey trying to come out.
Yeah, no, exactly what it is. But I missed it. So I came back here. I went to UCF. I met a guy at a bar. He was a Sigma Pi. His name was Nico. I met him at a bar, and I know this kid. I'd see him in the library. I'd see him at the bar and whatever. He was a cool guy. We were friends before he invited me to Rush Sigma Pi. We were just kind of hanging out. We would see each other at the bar. Every time we see each other, it's, hey, how you doing? So I went to college to UCF with the mindset of like, I'm here to have fun. Honestly, I didn't go with the mindset that I'm going to finish college, and I wanted to, because I was going into some debt. So like, I wanted to finish college. I was always like, I'm going to do it, but I'm really here for fun. I always knew I wanted to, get into like my own business, do my own thing kind of thing. So I was there for fun. and and my dad, he had he was doing well for himself at the time, just not even well for himself, he was just being normal. He wasn't rich, but he wasn't poor, he was right in the middle, and I had to come back to Florida.
When you find your way to UCF, I'm just curious now. What interests you in terms of academics? What are you thinking you want to study? What do you want to major in? What track do you go on there? I know you said that you were really looking at college more for the life experience, but there's also the classroom piece of it. What were you thinking about studying?
I was going straight into business. I mean, I knew I wanted to get into business, so it was business integration, and it was a little bit of everything. I got to learn a little bit of everything, and there was nothing else that caught my eye. It was really just straight business. I knew my father was a business owner, or he is a business owner currently, and my mother's a hustler. She does her own thing, and but just I grew up around my father for the most part, and watching him run his own business, run his own. He has a Mexican restaurant in Vero Beach, and he runs a dealership now. Just watching that, like I knew I wanted to get into that. Living with my dad, dude, it was not easy, bro. That's why I went to Jersey. It was not easy. You got this guy yelling at you 24/7. Dude, it's bad. And you know what? Now that I'm my age right now, I appreciate it. I do. I really do. But dude, this dude's yelling at me so much. I got in the butt whoopings of the century because I was not a good kid myself either. I was always, I have ADHD, and that's what I think is really the reason where I'm at today. ADHD. I love it. I love having ADHD. I can't sit still. I want to move everywhere. I want to keep doing things. It's really a problem that I enjoy having.
Let's move then into your professional history, and then let's get to Monkey Man Media.
Hmm.
You finish up at UCF in 2023. So tell us about what you did right after you finished. Was Monkey Man Media the first job you had in the professional world, or was it something that you grew into? Take us into your professional experience, maybe what you learned from it, and how that experience may have inspired you to go out and become an entrepreneur.
Well, working wise, I was always working. I had my first job at 15 at Home Depot. I did Home Depot for a bit. I was pushing carts, and then I moved up to garden associate. So I was doing that at 15 up to 16. Then when I moved then I worked at my dad's restaurant holding a sign. I was the sign holder for a little while. I was doing that. And then when I moved up to Jersey, I worked at Metro PCS for a bit. And that's where I really learned a lot, man. Because at Metro PCS, I was a salesman. So I was doing just straight commission. And I'm selling people these phones, and I'm going crazy. I'm compared to all these other old guys that are walking around me. I'm there. I'm 18-year-old, 17-year-old at the time, kid, just popping out Metro PCS phones. Because I have that. I have that energy in me. I love sales. I mean, I'm always doing sales. So I was working at Metro PCS. Then when I come to Florida, a buddy of mine introduced me to working with him at Aflac. So I worked at Aflac for a little bit, and I did door to door for them. It was a business to business, so it was B2B. And I remember my GM or my DM, he was the guy above me, and he was like my mentor at the time, pretty much trying to show me the ropes and everything. And I remember this guy drove me around. He took me out to eat every single time, and he just showed me the works. And once I got it to myself, I killed it. I mean, I have 2 awards from Aflac for Fireball sales and Thunderman sales, which are like being the top guy in sales in all of Aflac. It was just, and that's where I learned it. Knocking on doors, getting told no. I got told no. I got yelled at. I have had a gun pulled on me. I've had a gun pulled on me at a business. It was a barbershop. This guy did not like me being there, but I was also in the hood, so I probably should have expected it. But I went everywhere. I closed more deals in the hood than everyone else. I loved it. I loved it. And then that's where I learned really to not worry about no, to not worry about the no's. So I got told no so many times. I always think in my head, and I always say this to people. I think everyone should do door to door. I think everyone should do door to door at some point in their life, and becoming like something like a waiter or something, because you just get talked to like crap all the time, and you get treated like crap, and it's so good for you. It's just so good for you. At the end of the day, it's so good.
Sometimes learning and experiencing that harsh part of the professional world helps build up your ability to deal with things as you move on in your career.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, because if you start off with the worst thing, then like anything after that is just really not that bad. So I did Affleck for a little while, and then and then Monkey Man Media kind of, that's when that came around right after Affleck.
Yeah, what was it? What was it that you saw out there in the market? Maybe what you saw missing in the market that you said, "Hey, we could create a company here, and I'm going to make Monkey Man Media." What did you see that made you want to start that company?
Check it. I remember the exact day I started. I thought of the idea. I was working at my dad's restaurant. So every weekend I'd work at my dad's restaurant. I would drive from Orlando to Vero Beach, work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, drive back home Sunday, go to school Monday through Thursday. Because I needed money at the time and I wasn't trying to find a job in Orlando. And he was paying me very well at the restaurant. And I was making a bunch of tips. So I didn't mind it. I was making like a grand, 600, 700 a week there. And I like seeing my dad. So I like to go out there. I'm working at my dad's restaurant. It's a slow day there. I'm brooming. I remember I was brooming. I was wearing my sombrero. There was nobody in the restaurant. Some guy walks in. I hear the door jingle. Some guys walks in. Some guy walks in, and he asked me if where the business cards were, because we usually kept a couple of business cards there that people leave. When you walk into a place, you can leave your business card there. They'll put it on the wall, or they'll put it on a table or something. And we just moved it because I was cleaning. I told him, over there. He said, I can't find the one I'm looking for. It was for a guy named Franklin. And Franklin was a really close friend of mine at the time. And he worked for my dad at my dad's dealership. So on the card, it said Chief of Marketing. They gave him that name, but essentially he was a car salesman. But he also posted on Facebook Market for the dealership and everything. But that's what he was. He was just posting on Facebook Marketing. He was a salesman, but it said Chief of Marketing on there. And it said like marketing something. The guy came in here and he was looking for that card. And I said, sorry, no, we're out of those cards. It's a dealership up the street. His name's Franklin. He does the marketing. He does the posting and the sales, for the dealership up there. And the guy's like, oh man, I just started a pet exterminator. He just started an extermination business for bugs and stuff at people's houses. He started an extermination business. And he was like, oh man, I just started an extermination business. And, I was looking for someone to market for me. And I saw his card the other day, so I wanted to come in and grab it. And I'm like, well, he doesn't really do marketing. He just kind of does it for the dealership up the street. But I said that. I said he doesn't really do marketing, but he just does it for the dealership up the street. And he was like, oh, well, if you see him anymore, just tell him, here's my card. Tell him I can still use him, if he wants to do marketing for me. I was like, cool. And in my head, I'm like, dude, this guy came in here looking for a guy that does marketing for a used car dealership up the street to do marketing for his new business. And he doesn't even know this guy. And he came in here looking for this guy's card. And I'm like, what? This guy would do. So I literally, a couple of minutes go by. I'm thinking about this. I look at this guy's card. I have his card in my hand. I'm like, so I text my buddy, Nick. Nick and me were pledge brothers at the time. So me and him were pledge brothers. That's how we got close. We were friends. And I text Nick. Nick's back home in Orlando. I'm like, yo, Nick, you want to start like a marketing agency? Because, we've had like drunk talks about starting businesses and stuff in the past. But I'm like, dude, you want to start a marketing agency? And he's like, I still have the text. And this dude was like, you're the only person I would start a business with.
There you go.
And he's like, yes. Right then and there, the next day, he's hopping on things. We're right then and there. He was like, yes. And I'm like, let's do it. Right then, that's exactly what it came from. Just literally a guy coming in looking for a business card for someone that didn't even know how to do the job. But it didn't matter at that, because what came to my mind was like, it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what they think you know. So this guy thought he knew marketing just because he had a business card that said the word marketing on it. Why don't I just get a business card and put the freaking word marketing on it? And now I'm a marketer. It's as easy as that. It sounds like it's difficult to be something, but I went to college for business and now I'm filming and editing videos. Like, it's completely like, I never knew how to edit videos. I never knew how to do any of this. It's just, you get a card, you put what you want on it, you put your name on it, and anyone you give that card to, they're going to think you're that. And you're that. Essentially, you're that.
It's amazing that it really is that simple. It really is. And I agree. I've seen that in the professional world myself. Maybe tell us about your typical client. Who's the typical company that Monkey Man Media tries to work with?
So when we were starting out, we went for everything. We were going for anything that had a building. And I remember when we were first starting out, it was me and Nick, and we were working outside of, we were working in this little office space that was in where I used to live. So I used to live in these dorm areas, and they had a little office space right next to the pool. We worked in that office space. And this is right next to the pool. So I'm talking like windows like this, like, it had windows that you could see right through. I'm looking at everybody have fun by the pool because this was like around summertime, and I'm just sitting in this office with Nick. And I remember speaking with him, and I was like, dude, let's look at this, and let's let it piss us off, and let's get to work. Like I remember just like working and just looking and working. And anyway, we're working in here, and with clients, we just pretty much look for anything. I was practicing on what we were going to offer for on my dad's dealership at the time. So during the summer, I was still working on Monkey Man Media with Nick, but I was a car salesman at the time for my dad as well at the same time. So business got slow. I mean, car dealerships, if you talk to any car guy in this game, like business gets slow, and it sucks for everybody. It's slow for everybody. And and so when things got slow and I needed money, like I was only making commission, I'm like, damn man, I need to do something. So I'm already starting this business with Nick. We're talking about it. Let me create an Instagram account for my dad's dealership. Let me use CapCut. It's the service I'm seeing all over Instagram or all over social media, whatever. CapCut, it's free. You can edit videos. Cool. Used CapCut, made a couple Instagram videos, made reels. So I started making reels for my dad. So I started running reels under the dealership. I started posting every other day. I got people walking in to the dealership from that. So I'm like, okay, so this is how, this is a good way of kind of introducing it. So Nick at the time, I'm like sales, Nick's like operations. So Nick at the time is hiring at this point. We don't even have money, but Nick is hiring. He hired a group of like 10, 15 people, dude. They interviewed them, hired them. We had a group of 15 people do cold calling for us. And we didn't even have money. And I think we had a pay set up for them, which was like, I think it was like, I don't want to say like $10 an hour or something, $12 an hour, whatever, cold calling. And his thought, and then I agreed with it, was like, let's hire people to make us money to be able to afford them.
Interesting.
Right? That's what the whole thing was. Let's hire people to make us money to be able to afford them. It didn't work out that way because we were starting from nothing. So it didn't work out that way. We had all these people, and now we owed money. So now we're in credit card debt. We use our credit cards. We signed up for a few, paid these people out, got them out the way. We're like, all right, and then we got rid of everybody. And we're like, all right, we can't. We got to figure out our thing. So then I started doing calls just myself. And these people are just setting appointments for me now. Now we have people just setting appointments for us, and I'm hopping on the calls. But they're not like normal people. We're hiring like college people now because we're looking into like, let's find some younger guys who want to make some money. So because we could essentially give them a decent amount of money up front as a commission if they got us a client, because we do month to month. It's like, no one's going to sign up for just 1 month. So we sign up these college guys, college kids, and they're bringing us in people. So now I'm hopping on trying to close these deals, and I'm freaking closing them. As soon as I hop on these things, I'm like knocking them out. We have people giving us money without even seeing their faces, without ever talking to this person beside on the phone call. These people were paying us $250 every 2 weeks to run their social media account. They had to send us the videos, they had to send us the stuff. And that's where we learned like we can get money from people without even seeing them. It's just talking to people. And I'm so honest with people. And I honestly, I like to be modest, but like I'm the best salesman in the game, dude. I love, and it's not even just sales, it's because I'm so honest, and I love talking to people, and I'm not lying, so it's not hard to talk. It's not hard to convince people. It's not hard to talk what I'm talking about to people because I'm not lying. I'm essentially, I know I can help the person, and it's just a matter of telling them everything that I say out of the top of my head. So I'm busting out these calls. We're getting clients. So our first few clients were like, one was a handyman. He was a handyman. He did like handyman work himself. He was, he came to your house, he did handiwork, and then came back home. Made him a website. We used freaking whatchamacallit, because we were offering everything at this time: SEO, websites, social media, everything. And we got him a website off Fiverr. You know Fiverr?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we were using Fiverr. These guys are paying us whatever. We were getting them way cheaper off Fiverr. These guys are making us great, decent websites. And then Nick started, learning about websites himself. He started like watching a couple of YouTube videos. We used the system Wix for a bit. And Wix was like easy. It was like a template, it was just like, you don't need to learn anything. It just tells you you just need to know basic technology to be able to do these things. So he's making the websites for the guy. I'm making Instagram accounts and just posting whatever pictures they send me using ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is popping out, using ChatGPT to come up with captions. And that's like the basic package we had. It was just, all right, websites, Instagram, you send us the stuff, whatever. And so that's pretty much how we were getting our first clients. We had the basic package, and we had we had the system down. That's essentially what it was. The system. That's the important part. The call. They can schedule. I end it. I close it. Someone else takes care of it. Nick takes care of the Instagram and the website.
I love your confidence, Giovanni. That you're the best in the game. I love it.
Dude, you have to be that way, dude. It's a really and I have a buddy of mine who's in Sigma Pi. He's in my Sigma Pi, and his name's Connor, and he's a good guy. He looks just like me too, and he's a really good salesman himself. I know he's a good salesman, but I'll get into it. I'm like, dude, I'm like the best in the game. Like it's just confidence. Like I am so confident. That's how I got like some of my first big clients was confidence, busting into doors, doing things that no one else could do. I'm DMing these CEOs' wives. I'm tracking down these guys' numbers, their addresses, looking at their Instagram, figuring out where they're going to be at some point so I can be at that same spot.
How'd it go DMing the CEO's wife?
Not go good. Did not go good. You know what? It did help me get a deal, but he told me never to do that again. He told me never to do that again. He said, I respect it. Don't ever do that again.
Probably a good little bit of advice there, Giovanni. Hey, maybe you can take our listeners behind the scenes. What is it like to be the owner and the operator of a small business now? Are there any hiccups you've encountered that you didn't expect? What is it like on the behind the scenes?
The one thing is risk. You are taking a lot of risk. It could go really bad, and it could go really good. I moved to Tampa because I was in Orlando, and then when I left Orlando, me and Nick were like, dude, let's move somewhere. Because we were partying a lot. Like we're in Orlando. All of my brothers are there. I have 50 plus brothers. All of my brothers are there. So there's always something to do. That's what I loved about Sigma Pi. There's always, I always got my guys with me. I'm enjoying life a little too much. So I'm like, dude, let's get out of here. Tampa's up and coming. I love Tampa. Tampa's up and coming, dude. It's the new Miami. It's the New Jersey Shore. It's up. You wouldn't believe how many people are here from Jersey.
I know. I've got several friends of mine who've moved down to Tampa in the last couple of years.
Really?
Yep.
Dude, yeah, Tampa's just up and coming. So we're like, dude, let's just go to Tampa. And I had some money left over from what I made at my dad's dealership. I think I had like $2,000. Rent was $1,200. And then I had a couple credit cards, and I think Nick had some, a little cash left over. He was working at Walmart at the time. We moved to Tampa. And so I told my dad, I told everybody, I'm like, yo, I'm leaving college and moving to Tampa. Dude, I had some hate. I got some hate for it. I'll tell you that. Yeah, like my dad was pissed. My dad was very pissed. My girlfriend, she was pissed. Mom, uncle, aunt. I was just the worst one in the family at the time.
They were just concerned about this risk you were taking.
Exactly, the risk. And that's the thing that like separates people is like what you're willing to do for what you want. But it comes down to confidence too, because if you have so much confidence in yourself, it's not even a risk. It's just you doing what you're supposed to do to become rich. In my head, dude, I'm gonna become very wealthy. I don't care if I have to spend next month's rent to do it. I just know it's gonna all work out, so I'm just gonna do it. It sounds bad, and I wouldn't say I'm not rich yet. I'm not a millionaire yet, so don't take my advice. But from what I heard, I'm friends with a lot of successful people. All these clients, a couple of clients of mine are billionaires. I talk to these guys and I ask them questions and I listen to them. I listen to what they say, and nobody tells me do it this way. It's just kind of do it your way and you'll figure out your way. I made a couple of Instagram videos not too long ago, me asking some people some business advice. This one guy, he was like, there's no way, he's like, I don't want to do guru content. He's like, don't film me for this guru content because there's no way. I can't tell you a way to become successful. Pretty much just keep doing things and failing, and through your trials and tribulations, you'll figure it out and you'll keep doing it. That's what I was doing. I was like, dude, I know I'm going to be wealthy. So if this is the way that Nick and me got it for, we're moving to Tampa. We're doing this. We moved to Tampa. We have the first month's rent. That's all we had, and a security deposit, which actually I had to go into my credit card for. So that left me really broke. We just figured out next month's rent. That's the one. That's another thing I learned from freaking Sigma Pi, dude. Just figure it out. That's exactly what we went through. We went through just figuring stuff out. We had to buy furniture. We went on Facebook Market. I still have some of the furniture. Half of it was free. There's so many free things you can find on Facebook Market that are pretty nice. And the Next Door app, I found so much free furniture on there. We furnished our entire house. We got a really nice apartment on a really nice street, like a nice family street. We knew nobody in Tampa. We were on a street where it was like I walk outside my house and there's like people walking their dogs and stuff, and I don't see this in Jersey. And there's people walking their dogs. There's kids on the street playing. I'm not used to that, so I'm just enjoying it. And moving to Tampa, we just figure out next month's rent, and we just keep going from there. We just keep figuring stuff out as time goes. Rent, business. Our business concept changed over time so many times to different systems. So right now, like we're just down to a simple thing, but we started off with this big thing. We started off with I want to do this, and this. To now, what's keeping us successful is doing the one thing we're really good at, and then go from there. Start off with the one thing, and then just go from there. Be really good at that one thing.
Yeah, there's a book called Good to Great, and the CEO of our fraternity, Jonathan Frost, is a big proponent of that book, written by a guy named Jim Collins, and I use that book in the business classes that I teach. And in Good to Great, Jim Collins says exactly what you just said, Giovanni. Find that one thing that you're better than anyone else in the world at, and do that a whole bunch. That's what makes people
Yeah.
incredibly successful. That's what makes you go from being good to being great. There's other things that go with it, but uh, you might pick up that book and read it. Let me ask you this: you mentioned a little bit ago, hey, don't take my advice. This is just what I've learned. But you've been successful, so there are undergraduates listening to this. There's young men listening to this in the fraternity. What are some thoughts you would give them about starting their own business and going out there in the world as an entrepreneur?
That's cool. That's cool. It's cool that you asked me that because, like, dude, I was asking people that. Like, it's really cool to be able to talk about it, and because, I'm just like everyone else, dude. I'm literally normal. I'm just so normal of no money coming into my pocket from daddy. It's just kind of normal, normal, normal. Like not rich, more poor than rich, but it's just so normal. It's cool that I get to do that. Uh, Dude, one thing a couple of things that helped me. So one, uh, having the right partner. I mean, I'm not saying you need a partner, but I was never good at, knowledge. Well, I was never good into books and studying, and I was never good at school. Learning at least. Maybe it was my ADHD. Maybe it was just I didn't feel like it. I don't know, but I was never good at it. And so finding the right partner and him kind of being okay with having to learn stuff and having to read and having to figure out these kind of other issues that I didn't want to have to deal with. It was really helpful having that one guy. Um, I knew I loved sales. I knew I was a salesman. I knew I loved it. I loved it. And so finding someone like that and me being good at sales, it was just a perfect duo. Really good at operations, really good at sales. Just that's all you need. I mean, if you have both of those personalities too, then you're good. There's multiple people like that. I don't want to say I could have done it myself, but someone could do it themselves. Like it's you just have to have those qualities. Not being afraid to do things, that was again, I was not scared of being poor. I wasn't scared of being homeless. Honestly, the thought of homeless was fun to me. I was like, all right, dude, I'm gonna freaking play with hobos on the street and trying to make money from there. Like I was not scared of being homeless. I was not scared of anything. I mean, I have a buddy who wants to do it with me. That was good too, the buddy, because like it was motivation. Now that I have him on board, it's like, all right, if I'm not motivated, at least he is, and like I feel like crap because I'm like not working as hard as he is. I'm like, all right, now I feel good. So that was really helpful having that partner, having that friend. I wouldn't say go into it with a friend. I would say go into it with someone you can work with and will bring value. Because I've gone into I've added my friends onto this business and they're no longer with us. They were closer friends than Nick and I. It didn't work out. So friends aren't the always one. Just choose right. If you're going to choose with a partner, choose a person that'll bring value. Bring something you can't bring. And yeah, figure out what you're good at. Like I figured out I was good at sales. I figured out I was good at talking. So I knew I could do that. I knew I could just focus on that. And then Nick figured out he's good at operations. He's good at telling people what to do and kind of getting the whole system figured out. He figured out the idea of us having to have a system. He got me to watch Iman Gadzhi. This I don't know if you know Iman Gadzhi. He's a really good influencer who I love watching. And he was he taught me about this thing called monk mode. And me and Nick did this for a while. Monk mode is pretty much like becoming a monk for like a month or two, just no partying, no drinking, no doing things that give you easy dopamine, just working hard, eating well and working out and just no friends, no hang, just straight for a month. You do this for a month, it will get you to where you want to be. I'm telling you, if you really are like, dude, I want to start a business. I want to start a business this year. I want to start a business now. That's the thing with me. I hate saying, I don't even pre-plan for trips because I hate like thinking about things for months from now. If I'm talking about a trip, it better be within the next 2 weeks because I don't want to talk about it if it's not that. I'm so last minute and I want to do it now if we talk about it. That's gotten into me some trouble, but it's also gotten me some of my best clients. I mean, I looked at I was doing research on clients and I found someone I wanted. I'm like, all right, I want this guy right now. Where's his office? Oh, it's here. All right, I'm gonna walk in there. I don't even know what I'm gonna say to him. I don't even know what's his name. I have no clue. I'm just gonna walk up to him and we're gonna start from there. And that's how it would work. Even when we're about to go into a meeting, me and Nick, I'll pull up to a place, some people have like their little conversations beforehand. I'm like, nope, let's go. Let's play it by ear. He's like, what do you want to talk about first? I'm like, man, we'll play it by ear. That's my saying. We'll play it by ear. We'll just get in front of the situation. And that's when my best work happens. And that's when I think anyone's best work would happen. Just throw them in the fire. All right, what are you going to do? It's like, live or die. So having that mindset of just like right now, today, like do it. Let's do it. Like if you say, oh, I want to start a business. All right, you know what? Let's start Monday. No, let's start right now. What's the business name? What are we doing? All right, what's the name? All right, like there's no planning. There's no needing to sleep on it. Like right now. And I think that's what got me too. That's what got me my first few clients. Freaking right now. I want them now. I don't want to wait. I'm very impatient.
Look, this has been great, Giovanni. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for the podcast. Before we wrap up, do you have any parting thoughts for our listeners?
Man, I hope this gets over to some people. I hope this gets over to some young entrepreneurs, man, like the ones that really are like want it. Because if you really want it, I'm telling you, just I got a lot more to say. You always, Joe, you always can put my information out there. I love talking to people. I'm new to this. I'm 23 years old. I just turned 23 not too long ago. I'm young. I was freaking drinking and smoking and partying and whatever. I was doing the same thing. And like every older person says this. I'm listening to old people older than me say, oh man, I did that back in my day. And, you just got to hustle and grind. I've heard that too. And now I'm saying it to other people. And it's like, dude, actually do it. Just actually, if you want it, like it's so easy. Just don't worry about the repercussions. Don't worry about what's going to happen. Just actually do it. And you don't even have to have a plan. Just freaking start off with writing your name on a business card. Put your name, put what you want to do, and there you go. You're it. That's it. It's on a business card. It has to mean something. I'm telling you, it's so easy. And I didn't have anyone tell me this, but like I felt it. and I'm glad. I did have people tell me, like, I had, influencers online and, mom and dad, but if I listen to everything my mom and dad told me, it's I don't do that either. So it's like it's cool hearing it. I hope hearing it from someone like me, someone normal from Dirty Jers, freaking normal as heck, dude, loving it. I just it works. It works. And manifestation. If you manifest it, it works. It works. Just people laugh at me when I have a Porsche GT3 or a Porsche 911 GTRS on my home screen, and I'm getting one. I'm getting one in February. Porsche is one of my clients. I'm getting one in February, and so is my partner. And it was my wallpaper. It was my wallpaper for the longest time. It's super easy. You don't have to do the steps and this and that. And if you want to be rich, okay, let's do it. Start now. Boom, done, easy. It's that's it. That's it. Do monk mode for a month, dude. You're done. You're in. That's all you got to do. No, I appreciate you, Joe, man. I really do.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you for being a guest on Owl Talk and for giving us some excellent insight into entrepreneurship. For all of our listeners, remember that you can stay up to date on the latest in the world of Sigma Pi Fraternity by following us across social media. We're at Sigma Pi, all one word, on Instagram, X, and Facebook. On YouTube, we are at Sigma Pi Fraternity, also all one word.
I was going to say, guys, shout out Sigma Pi, Iota Kappa chapter, UCF boys, love them. They're still there. Rush Sigma Pi. Follow me on Instagram. I'm Giovanni. I post content myself. Text me. I just started posting content. You can DM me if you're one of the brothers and you want to DM me. If you're not, you want to DM me. I don't mind hopping on calls. One of the Sigma Pi brothers from your chapter called me like a few days ago, last week. I was on a call and he called me. We talked for like an hour. I never talked to him before. We're BSing on the phone. Give me a ring. Hey, people need to hear stuff like this, man, and I appreciate you doing it.
Where can we find Monkey Man Media?
You can find us at Monkey Man Media on Instagram, Monkey Man Media on Facebook. We are posting more on Instagram, though. Instagram's like the thing. So follow us on Instagram. You can shoot us questions on Instagram. And if you're in Tampa, no problem visiting you. Let's do this. I like helping out people. You can come into my office.
Love it. Thank you to everyone who listened to this episode, and we look forward to you joining us for the next Owl Talk podcast.